What is going on, guys? My name is Sena and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys one tip for every rank in Valorant. Each tip is going to be about what I personally see the average player of that rank struggle with the most. I would still recommend watching through all the ranks that you aren't in because the tips will certainly still help you. I also want to preface this video by saying that none of these tips will be that you need to improve your crosshair placement or your aim or mechanics. Aim, crosshair placement, and mechanics are things that you will need to constantly work on and improve regardless of what rank you are in. Whether you are in Iron or Immortal, your mechanics will always have room for improvement, so making it a tip for a specific rank is pointless in my opinion. Before we jump into the video, I want to introduce you guys to today's sponsor, Valorant Tracker. Valorant Tracker is a companion tool for Valorant that gives you detailed analytics on your performance across the board. This includes things like your top performing agents, weapons, KD ratios, and a whole lot more. One of the coolest features Valorant Tracker offers is the live match tab, where you can see the ranks and stats of every player in your game in real time, as well as the match timeline. Valorant Tracker is completely free to download and use, and I've been using it for years at this point. Click the link in the top of the description to download Valorant Tracker today. With all that being said, guys, let's get right back to the video. Let's run through all the ranks really quickly before we start giving tips. First, we have what I would consider low elo, which is Iron, Bronze, Silver, and Gold. Next, we have what I would consider as mid elo, which is Platinum, Diamond, and Ascendant. And finally, we have what I would consider as high elo, which is Immortal Plus. With all that being said, let's start off with the first rank, which is Iron. If you are an Iron, you need to focus on learning the fundamentals of the game. You're most likely new to FPS games and don't fully grasp the fundamentals yet. Get comfortable stopping before shooting and how different recoil patterns feel in the range and in deathmatch. Get familiar with the layouts of each map and the common angles that people will peek and the different corners that you will have to clear. Go in custom games and check out the different maps, play unrateds, play swift plays, and just get a feel for how the game works. Find a good sensitivity that you are comfortable with and spend some time getting used to it. I fully believe that once you understand the fundamentals of the game, you will be able to escape Iron. Next up is Bronze. If you are in Bronze, I would recommend you to find one or two agents that you really like playing and start mastering them. Whether that's a duelist like Jett or Reyna, or maybe a controller like Clove or Omen, familiarize yourself with their kit and how you can use them to the fullest potential. For example, if you're wanting to main Reyna, start getting comfortable playing off angles where you can catch opponents off guard and dismiss out, since that's one of Reyna's biggest strengths. If you're wanting to main Clove or Omen, learn the proper smokes for each site and how to throw good smokes for your team. Having an agent or role that you really excel at will definitely help you climb out of Bronze in no time. Now let's move on to the next rank, which is Silver. If you're in Silver, you need to start implementing more teamwork into your games. Most Silver players have no real concept of teamwork and make a lot of solo plays. Start contacting angles with your teammates and playing trades. Start defaulting or faking sites when 5-man executes aren't working anymore. Start comboing utility together for site takes or during a retake like Sova Dart and Omen Blind, for example. At the end of the day, Valorant is a team-based game, and the higher you go in rank, the more coordinated players will become, so I would highly recommend getting used to that early on. Having a duo or trio really helps with this, but even in solo queue you can implement this. Start paying more attention to how your teammates are playing and try to play off of them and get their trade, for example. Implementing more teamwork into your playstyle will definitely be a huge help for you when climbing out of Silver. With that being said, let's move on to Gold. If you are in Gold, you need to start paying more attention to your positioning and start isolating your 1v1s. Positioning is arguably arguably one of the most important aspects of your gameplay, and if you are constantly putting yourself in a position where you are either exposing yourself to multiple angles at once, or if you are peeking common angles all the time, you will be punished for it. In the lower ranks, you can get away with not having the greatest positioning, but from gold onwards, it starts to become much more important. When you are positioning yourself, you need to stop and ask, where can I get peeked from right now, and am I guaranteed a 1v1 if someone does decide to peek me? A good example of this is A Site Haven. Let's say you're playing post plant in short and you're holding CT for the run out. In this position here, you are exposed to both CT and Heaven, meaning you're essentially gambling on which angle you'll get peeked from. Instead, you should pick one angle that you want to hold and position yourself in a spot where you aren't exposed to any others. If you want to play more out in the open like this, then you need a smoke for Heaven, because now you have a 1v1 in CT, but be careful because you will need to move when the smoke fades. Mastering this concept of positioning and isolating fights will help you a ton when it comes to climbing out of gold, or honestly any rank for that matter. Now that we understand this, let's move on to Plat. Plat I would consider to be the first mid-elo rank, so players will start to be a bit more aware here. If you are in Plat, you need to start getting in the habit of reading enemies and recognizing patterns in their gameplay. For example, if you look at the enemy's credits before the round starts and notice that their jet has a suspicious amount of money, like 5,200, you can assume that they most likely saved up to buy an op. Now you can tell your team to not dry peek and instead use drone early to clear out the opper before peeking. Another example of this is if you notice that one of the enemies keeps flanking from B every round, you can have your team make a lot of noise A at the start of the round while you sit back and hold for the flank. Then once you take out their flanker, you can all rotate B off of that pick since the site will most likely be clear. Noticing these small tendencies in the enemy's gameplay will give you a huge upper hand in your games and will be a big key in developing your game sense. Let's move on to the next rank, which is Diamond. If you're in Diamond, you need to be more confident and calm in clutches. A clutch or a 1vx is where you are the last alive in a round and need to win it all by yourself. This can be really difficult for players who struggle with nerve control or for those who are not very confident in their own skill. Diamond is the rank where winning clutches becomes much more important because a lot of these rounds will come down to the wire and will depend on whether or not you can clutch up for your team. The key components of clutching are paying attention to what pieces of utility you have left. Do you have a smoke? Do you have a flash? Do you have a molly? These pieces of utility can single-handedly win you clutches if you're able to capitalize off of them by isolating 1v1s. Another key component is that players often get lazy and overconfident and make more mistakes when there's only one enemy left alive. If you're able to recognize that, you can use it to your advantage and play more aggressively to catch them off guard. Confidence is key, and being confident and calm in clutches will definitely help you on your way out of Diamond. With that being said, let's move on to the next rank, which is Ascendant. If you're an Ascendant, you need to be more disciplined and stop overcommitting to unnecessary gunfights. What I mean by overcommitting is that you might push out and get a pick at the start of the round, but then continue pushing to look for another frag because of the confidence boost and end up dying and throwing the man advantage that you just claimed. Overcommitting, overextending, and overheating are all similar turns that can be grouped into this, and I think knowing when to disengage and playing for the win is a crucial concept that a lot of Ascendant players struggle with. If you're up numbers and have a man advantage in a round, there is hardly any reason for you to be solo pushing the other team. Play together, play trades, and you will have a significantly higher chance of winning the round. This takes discipline, and I feel like that is exactly what most Ascendant players are lacking in. If you start being more patient and really think through every decision you're making, you will notice that winning your games will become a lot easier. Let's move on to the final rank, which is Immortal. The gap between Immortal 1 and Radiant is at least 450 RR in NA and a whopping 550 RR in EU. This is a brutal climb, but if you want to do it, you will need to be a very consistent player. Having to win over 400 RR worth of games means that being consistent will matter a lot more here, especially with most players in this elo being being very good at the game. My advice for building consistency would be to create a routine for yourself to follow. Have a set warm-up routine that you do every day to establish consistency in your aim, and have a set amount of games that you want to play each day. Keeping things consistent will be a huge help for you to go on win streaks and improve as a player. You'll notice that tilt queuing will start to be a lot more of a problem here, so make sure to keep your mental in check. When I solo queued to Radiant, I had to play a lot, but with enough consistency and perseverance, I was able to do it. And I'm not special, so if I could do it, I know that you can too. And I think that pretty much covers every rank. Like I mentioned towards the beginning of the video, none of these tips had to do with aim or crosshair placement, since it doesn't apply to a specific rank, but you will still need to improve it and work on it regardless of rank. If you did enjoy this video or find it helpful, don't forget to drop a like down below and also subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I want to thank all of you so much for the support you guys have shown on the channel. We're getting super close to 200K, which is all thanks to you guys. You guys are actually the best, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you've shown on this channel. I have a Discord link down in the description below. You guys should come join that. We have a super chill community. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day or night to watch this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.